धनञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so welcome to the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Southern Division. Uh, we are just going to now cover the overview of Vibhav. So before that, we have some norms for Zoom online classes. The class will be interactive. You can keep your video on, but please mute your audio so that there is no distraction in the background that will disrupt our thought flow. So kindly mute your audio. I will mute your audio. And whenever you raise your hand, then I will unmute you. I'll be discussing a few points or slides and then pause for questions from the participants. Kindly use the raise hand button in the Zoom feature and raise your hands to ask questions. So I'll be showing the PPTs in the Zoom screen, and these PPTs will be shared with you every class. So don't worry about the PPTs. And it is best if you can sit on the laptop for discussion for focus study. Mobile Zoom camera is small and there are disturbances like calls coming in, moving around with the mobile, all can be avoided. Sit focused in one place to participate in the discussion. You can share your email address and WhatsApp number and I will send the PPTs. Okay. And later on, if you have any questions, kindly record your questions and send it to me in the group, personally to me. I will answer it and then post it in the group. So the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, as the title Rup Goswami has given, it is Sindhu. Sindhu means ocean. And the ocean is of what? Bhakti Ras. It is the ocean of Bhakti Ras, not the Bhava Rasa of birth, death, old age, disease, or the mundane rasas. It is Bhakti Rasa. And this rasa is Amrita. It is immortal. It is eternal. It is spiritual. So just like the ocean has primarily four directions, north, south, east, and west. So there are four, divisions of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Four divisions are there. That is the eastern division, the southern division, the western division, and the northern division. In the eastern division, which is part of your Bhakti Shastri, we study the types of Bhakti. There is the Samanya Bhakti, where Rup Goswami defines pure devotional service, Uttama Bhakti. Then he gives the characteristics of pure devotional service. And then in the second wave, just like in the ocean, there are waves. These are called as laharis. So in the Eastern division, there are four waves: Samanya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. And within Sadhana Bhakti, there is Vaidhi Sadhana and Raganuga Sadhana. Similarly, the southern division, which we have been studying, these are the waves you can see, laharis. There are five waves, which is called as the components of rasa. So there is Vibhava, Anubhava, Satviki Bhav, Vebhichari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. And the western division is the Mukhya Rasas. There is the Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. So there are five waves here. The northern division discusses the secondary waves. Secondary rasas. And there are seven secondary rasas, or the Gaun rasas, like the Hasya ras, Bibhatsa ras, Raudra ras. These embellish the primary rasas. And these are the seven, and two chapters are devoted to what are compatible and incompatible rasas. So in essence, there are nine laharis, waves in the northern division, seven gaun rasas, secondary rasas, and two chapters on compatibility and incompatibility of rasas. So in essence, if you see, uh, the Eastern division of the definition of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu lays the foundation for the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu work. But the Southern division is central to rasas. So it lays the foundation for rasa. So without understanding the components of rasa, one cannot go into the Mukhya rasa and the Gaun rasas. So the components of rasa are discussed in the Southern division. And in a sense, the Southern division is the central to the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So this is just some overview of the entire work of Rupa Goswami, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now please remember, Rupa Goswami is Rup Manjur in the spiritual world. He is witnessing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. He is in his Manjari Bhav. He is experiencing these emotions in his heart. And that Rup Manjari has come here as Rup Goswami. And whatever he has experienced, he is writing it down in the form of definitions. The whole bhakti science, emotions cannot be defined. Emotions is emotion. Bhav, bhav hai. People say in Hindi. But every emotion, Rup Goswami is defining it philosophically and explaining it. And Rup Goswami is Rup Manjari. He took 17 years to complete this work, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. 17 years. And whom he was assisted by? Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami is to, collect the leaves, make them clean and, dry them and give it to Rupa Goswami so that he could compose the verses. And he himself was his editor. Our Siddhanta Acharya Jiva Goswami was the editor of Rupa Goswami's work, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Jiva Goswami, being the editor of this work, the first person who is to see the verses and he's to, edit it. And he's the one who has written the commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is called as the Durgam Sangamini Tika. Durgam Sangamini Tika means resolving the difficult. So actually, without the commentary of Jiva Goswami, we cannot penetrate into the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And later on, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, after a few hundred years, who is also called as the incarnation of Rupa Goswami, gave his commentary. And that commentary is called as the Sarartha Pradarshini, I think. No, Bhakti Sara Pradarshini, revealing the essence of Bhakti. So without these two acharyas' commentaries, we cannot really penetrate into the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And of course, one should repeatedly study Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion summary study. And in our Vibhav classes, I took an entire one class of all the quotations of Prabhupada about Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Prabhupada repeatedly saying there that one should uh, study this work many, many times, and then he will start understanding. At least 6 times, he says. So one should study the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu repeatedly, and that will help him to understand. Okay, now further about the divisions of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is the overview. As I mentioned, there is the Purva Vibhag, Western division, Bhakti, Bhagavad Bhakti Veda. This is chapters 1 to 19 in your summary study. The Dakshina Vibhaga, Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. In the Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion, it is chapters 20 to 34. And then Paschima Vibhag is Mukhya Bhakti Ras. That is, I told you, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. This is chapters 35 to 44. And Uttar Vibhag, the northern division, is the Gauna Bhakti Ras, the secondary rasas, 45 to 51. And I told there are 7 Gaun rasas, 2 chapters or 2 waves devoted to what are compatible and incompatible. Okay, so further the overview, I told you that the Eastern has 4 waves. First wave is Samanya Bhakti, overview of Bhakti. Second wave is Sadhana Bhakti, Vaidhi and Raganuga Sadhana, devotional service and practice, what Prabhupada says. The third wave is Bhava Bhakti, devotional service in ecstasy. And the fourth wave is Prema Bhakti. And the southern side, that is the overview of Rasa, which is, I told you, the central of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There are 5 waves: Vibhava, Anubhava, Satviki Bhav, Vyabhichari Bhav, Stahi Bhav. And the western has 5 rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. And the northern has 9 waves, beginning with the 7 Gaun rasas: Hasya, Veeraras, Karunaras, Raudraras, Vibhatsaras, Bhayanakaras, Adbhutaras, astonishment. And then there is a mixture of mellows, distorted mellows, that is compatibility of rasas and incompatibility of rasas. Just like the Vatsalya ras, Karuna is compatible with it. Similarly, Sakya ras is compatible with laughter, hasiras. That's why Madhu Mangal makes Krishna laugh and all his friends laugh. So, of course, conjugal is also compatible with laughter. So, like that, what are compatible and incompatible, what mixture, that is discussed in these last 2 chapters. So, this is about the uh, Eastern division, 4 divisions, 4 waves, and the Southern division, and all the Western and the Northern division. Of course, as I mentioned, one should study the Eastern Division, Prabhupada's summary study many times. But later on, we should study Jeev Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to understand the definition of pure devotional service, understand the characteristics of pure devotional service, and definition of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, and the 64 limbs of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and definition of Bhava Bhakti and the symptoms of Bhava Bhakti, definition of Prema Bhakti. So this, as I mentioned, we have done as part of Bhakti Shastri, verse by verse, which is available in 40 classes of all these 4 waves. And one should study this, because without the foundation of Eastern wave, Eastern section, Eastern division, Paschima Vibhaga, entering into southern overview of rasa becomes difficult. So the more repeatedly we study this, the much better we can understand. Okay. Now this is, I mentioned now, the southern section, the Dakshina Vibhaga, there are 5 waves. Vibhava, Prabhupada says, causes of ecstasy. Anubhava, subsequent ecstasy. Satviki Bhav, constitutional or existential ecstasy. Vyabhichari Bhav is aggressive ecstasy. And Stahi Bhav is continuous ecstasy. So these are the English equivalents of the Sanskrit terms given by Prabhupada. Okay, now before we begin the southern section defining the components of rasa, that is Vibhav overview, up till now, do you have any questions? You can raise your hands and we'll try to answer any questions. Any questions, any? Yes, Sri Lalita Sumukhi Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for taking us through that. But this is the first time I'm attending your class. So the eastern part of it, which you said is like a part of the Bhakti Shastri. So those presentations, if you share, maybe this will be helpful to. I mean, it will be helpful to understand whatever we are doing now, the southern section better.
Yes, I will share it in this group immediately after this discussion. We will do that.
Sure, sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Ram Kumar Prabhuji, you have a question? Yes, I've unmuted you.
Same thing as Mataji asked, Prabhu.
Okay, we will do that. Fine. Okay, so then we will begin with now the Southern Division. Just the, I mentioned the overview. We have completed this Vibhav in 25 classes, and now within 3 classes, we will be covering it. So this is the table of contents of Vibhav. What are the causes of Bhakti Ras? This is what first Rupa Goswami discusses. Now, in order to relish rasa, one has to be in the stage of bhava. Because at the stage of bhava, one's stahi bhav is revealed. Stahi bhav means whether his mood of worshipping Krishna is in the relationship of Sakya, Dasya, Vatsalya, or Madhuri. The cultivation is done when one takes up to the practice of Raganuga sadhana. After one uh, is expert in following the rules and regulations of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, and after anarth nivritti, one has attained the stage of nishta. At the stage of nishta, one is a sita pragya. Sita pragya means one is a self-realized soul. And at the stage of nishta only, one is self-realized, one has attained the stage of nishta among the 9 limbs. Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. At the stage of Nishta, one starts, following a particular mood of the eternal associates, because that mood, he is attracted to. This happens by the association of very advanced devotees and by hearing Krishna Katha. Somebody starts hearing the Vatsalya pastimes and is attracted to worship Lord Krishna in the form of parental affection. So then he starts following the eternal associates who are their role models like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. So that is the cause of Bhakti Rasa, because for Bhakti Rasa to happen, there has to be Stahi Bhav. And Stahi Bhav is called as the prominent Rasa. Without the Stahi Bhav, uh, Stahi Bhav, when it combines with Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vebhichari Bhav, all together combine this, all rasas combine together to give what is called as, you know, all bhavas combine together to give rise to what is called as rasa. So the components of rasa, we have now discussed vibhav, as I mentioned, but today we will go over into the definition of vibhav. And then we will be in detail going into Anubhav, then Satviki Bhav, Vebhichari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. And within Vibhav, there is Alamban, Vishaya Alamban, Asha Alamban, and Udipan. We will go to the definitions briefly, very quickly. And then Krishna is the object of rasa. So Krishna can sometimes exhibit other forms, which is called as Anyarup. Or he can exhibit his form, but it is disguised or undisguised. Avrit and Prakat. This again we will make it clear as we discussed. Then what are the qualities in the object Vishaya which attract the devotee who is the ashray or the abode of love? So the 64 qualities will be discussed. First, there are the 50 qualities, then the extra 5 qualities which are in Shiva, then extra 5 qualities in Vishnu. These make 60. Then the 4 extra qualities which only Krishna possesses: Leela Madhurya, Prema Madhurya, Venu Madhurya, and Rup Madhurya. And then Krishna is Purna in Dwarka, Purnatara in Mathura, but is Purnatama in Vraja. So this is the form of Krishna. We are worshippers of Raja Krishna. Then Krishna has these 4 personalities. We'll also see that. Dhiro Dhata, Dhiro Lalita, Dhira Prashanta, Dhiro Dhata. Of course, here the diacritics have not come because I'm not able to install the fonts now. I just formatted the computer and we'll do it tomorrow. Then the further qualities which are there in the Vishaya which attract the devotee are the auspicious qualities, the 8 auspicious qualities, which also we'll briefly look into. Now, as I mentioned, there is the Vishaya, object of love, Krishna, and the devotee who is the abode of love, Ashraya, the devotee. So these devotees are sadhakas. Sadhaka here means bhava bhakta. I mentioned that bhakti ras is only possible when there is stahi bhav, and stahi bhav mixes with these other 4 components, vibhava, anubhava, satviki bhava, and vibhicharya, and gives rise to rasa. So the sadhaka here is not a sadhaka who is just practicing Krishna consciousness, but he's a bhava bhakta. Or he can be a siddha, prema bhakti. And this siddhi, samprapta siddhi, he has attained by sadhana or by the mercy of the Lord. And there are perfected souls who are the nitya siddhas also, like that. And there are these who are in rasa with Krishna, who are also the devotees in Ashray. So the Vishaya and the Ashray will be discussed in briefly. Then there is something called as Uddipan. Uddipan are the things related to the Vishaya, which, stimulate, rasa. Like Krishna's peacock feather, Krishna's playing the flute. That stimulates the Stahi Bhav of the gopis in Madhuri Ras. The full moon night of the Purnima. And for Mother Yashoda, it is the ankle bells, Krishna, crawling in the dust of Raja, his ankle bells, his earrings, all that. So Krishna's, bugle, the friends are attracted to it. When he plays the bugle, Krishna's friends know that now we are going to the forest to play. So Uddipana are things related to the Vishaya, which stimulate the Stahi Bhav, related to the Vishaya. So these are Krishna's qualities: his bodily age in Komara, Pauganda, and Kaishora, his beauty, his form, his softness, his verbal, mental, his actions, his clothing, all that attracts. Krishna's hairstyle, his curly hairs, the garlands he wears, the tilak, the tambula, the lotus he carries, Krishna's ornaments, Krishna's smile, the fragrance, the flute, the horn, the anklets, the conch, the footprints, the places, tulsi, the devotees. By seeing the devotees, we remember Krishna. So that becomes a Uddipan for us to remember Krishna. Then the festival days. So like that, these are Uddipan. So all this we will be going through briefly, which is part of Vibhav. So Vibhav is a very, very elaborate discussion in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Southern Division. And we will be going through it briefly. And as I mentioned in your Nectar of Devotion summary study, it is chapters 20 to 34. And within that, Vibhav, ecstatic excitance, Prabhupada says, causes of ecstasy. This is chapters 20 to 26. So 7 chapters, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 7 chapters are only on Vibhav. And Rup Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in Vibhav, there are almost How many verses? 384 verses for your kind information. Anubhav is just, maybe 15 or 20 verses. Yeah, 20 verses Anubhav, which we'll quickly go through. But Vibhav is 384 verses. It's practically half of Bhagavad Gita, more than half, nearing 400, 700. So like that 60% of Bhagavad Gita is Vibhav verses, which we have discussed. Anubhav, as I mentioned, is only one chapter. Satviki Bhav is also short, one chapter. Vyabhichari Bhav is three chapters, aggressive ecstasy. And Sthahi Bhav, continuous ecstasy, is also again three chapters. Okay, so this is in your summary study, you can mark it. So let's now go to Vibhav. Again, any questions you have up till now? Any questions, any clarifications? I just went through the overview of what we are going to study, but still, if you have any questions. Yes, Sri Lalita Sumiki Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have two questions.
Yes.
Somewhere it was mentioned that one by sadhana and one by mercy you can achieve that thing. So even if sadhana is not perfect, by mercy we can get this type of rasa.
These are very extraordinary cases.
Okay.
And general cases that devotees attain by sadhana only.
Okay.
Very, very rare cases that, Krishna directly bestows mercy and one attains bhava. Generally, it is by sadhana. Of course, there is the mercy of Guru, Krishna, all there in that. But here, when we are speaking about Kripa, Siddhi,
Okay.
we are speaking about, there is the example in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Devadasi who whole night danced for Jagannath. She did not
Okay.
practice any sadhana of
Okay.
the Navida Bhakti, nothing. But
Okay.
Jagannath bestowed her bhava directly.
Okay.
She attained
Okay.
bhava bhakti. So that
Okay.
is called as Kripa Siddhi.
Okay.
So that is very, very rare. Like somebody is directly awarded PhD without going through even college, graduation, post-graduation. He directly gets a PhD doctorate. The institute bestows upon him, and that is Kripa. So that's very rare. General cases that we have to go through sadhana bhakti and attain bhava bhakti. And bhava bhakti is also bestowed by the Lord only, but
Okay.
by the practice of sadhana bhakti, especially Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and then Raganuga sadhana bhakti.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
what's your second question?
Yeah, second question. So now whatever we saw on the slide, right, Prabhuji? So it is how do we have to do? We have to remember everything or just understand and
Well, we are going through go through it. I'm going to explain now everything, and slowly,
okay.
slowly, when you start understanding the philosophy and practically applying it, we are
Okay.
all going through these emotions, even in the realm of devotion, but we don't understand it because we don't know the science of it. Now, when we
Okay.
start recognizing it, and
Okay.
through the definitions of Rupa Goswami, then we can relate to it and we can further embellish them and further go deep into Bhakti Rasa. That's the whole idea.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions anyone else has? Veer Krishna Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhu, just one clarification.
Yes.
Prabhu, regarding this Raganuga Bhakti, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti,
Hmm.
for Gaudi Vaishnava, it is understood that they follow the Ragatmika Bhaktas. But those devotees who are not, in cult of Gaudi Vaishnava, for them this stage is applicable or how it is?
No, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is such a unique scripture because it's it's not even available in Golok in Vaikuntha, the scripture, but it is available here on earth by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, and Srila Prabhupada. So that's how this scripture. It is not even it's rare even to in Mathura, Dwarka, or in Vrindavan. Sorry, in Mathura and Dwarka. That's how rare this scripture is. You know, so that's why this is Vraj Bhakti, and Vraj Bhakti. To practice Vraj Bhakti, the worshipful Lord is Sham Sundar Krishna, Vraj Krishna, and only the eternal associates who are steeply in love with Krishna in any of these four rasas, only when we follow in their footsteps, that bhakti which is practiced is called as Raganuga Bhakti. And those devotees who are steeply in love with Krishna, the eternal associates, they are called as Ragatmika Bhaktas. They are called as Ragatmika Bhaktas. So that's how it is. So this is a very rare scripture, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. It's not available in this universe. It's only available in the Gaudiya tradition. And only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got this from the spiritual world. And no other avatar has ever given it. Even Krishna doesn't bestow, this Vraj Bhakti, even when he incarnates and performs his pastime. Please remember that. Krishna also doesn't bestow this love. It's only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who bestows this, and that is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prema rasa niryas karite aswadana, raga marga bhakti karite pracharana, rasika shekara Krishna parama karuna, eido ye heto he udgama. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela first chapter, Adi Leela first, fourth chapter, verses 15 and 16, Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Prema rasa niryas, the pinnacle of prema, that is Madhur Ras, karite asvadana. And Mahaprabhu has come to relish that, because Srimati Radharani is relishing that highest rasa, and Krishna has come in the mood of Chaitanya, Radharani to relish that. What is that rasa Srimati Radharani is relishing in relationship? And what is the sweetness she is experiencing? And raga marga bhakti karite pracharan, and to propagate this raga marg, which is only practiced in Braja by the Ragatmika Bhaktas, the eternal associates. This is the purpose why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. So that's how unique this is. I hope it's clear.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's now go into I just took you to the chapters of overview of Vibhava, but now we will briefly touch upon all these chapters today. We'll touch upon all these chapters. I'm just looking for where the slides are. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So let's now go to causes of Bhakti Ras. I briefly explained the causes of Bhakti Ras, that Bhakti Ras, there is a difference between Bhava and Rasa. I'll come to that. Tomorrow's entire class is devoted to that. That in order to relish Rasa, there has to be one component which is the Stahi Bhav. And only when Stahi Bhav mixes with the other four components, which are called as Samagri Bhav, then all these combine together to give rise to Rasa. So tomorrow we will be looking into detail, but this is the invocation verse. May the eternal form of Krishna, Sanatanam Tanur, killer of Agasura, Aga Damano, served strongly by his natural beauty, Prabhalam Ananya Shreya. Prabhala, of course, I'm not able to see the Balram font because the fonts are not installed. Today, this computer was formatted. I'll just look into the text. Prabhala Ananya Shreyina. Prabhala Ananya Shreyina, which is attractive even without ornaments. and which is non-different from his very self. Sahaja Rupena remain with all attractive features eternally in the district of Mathura. Jayati Mathura Yam Sada. So this is the Mangalacharan verse. And this verse has two meanings. It can also mean May Sanatan Goswami. Sanatana Tanu can refer to eternal form of Krishna, or it can refer to Sanatan Goswami, who conquers all sins, Agadamano, and is served with devotion by his younger brother, Rupa. Ni Sevita Sahaja Rupena. So, Ni Sevita Sahaja Rupena refers to Rupa Goswami. Who has taken shelter of him alone? Prabala Ananya Shaina. Remain eternally in Mathura district. Jayati Mathurayam Sada. So, this is the Mangalacharan verse of the Vibhava first verse. And then he says, Rasamritabdirbhagyasmin Dvitiya Dakshana Bidha Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Rasa Tavad Udirite. The second part of the sweet ocean of Rasa, Rasamrit, Rasa Amritabdir Bhage Asmin Dvitiye. Dvitiye means the second division. Is called as the southern section. Dakshina Abidhe. Dakshina Bhag, as we are saying, na? Southern is Dakshina Bhag. It describes Tavad Udirate, the general rasas within devotion to the Lord. Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. So this is Dakshina Bhagad is called as Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. And if you have carefully observed, Dakshina Vigan Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. This is what I also have titled here. And this is the title in this verse given by also Rupa Goswami. And then the third verse says, Asya panchalahara syur vibhavakhya mata dvitiya tu anubhavakya tritiya satvika bidha vebicharya bidha turya stahi sangya cha panchami. There are five waves, chapters in the southern section of the ocean. Asya pancha lahari syu. Lahari means I mentioned the waves. So there are five waves in the Dakshin Vibhav. The first deals with Vibhav, Vibhav Akya Grima Mata. The second with Anubhav, Dvitiya to Anubhavakya. The third with Satviki Bhav, Tritiya Satvika Abhidha. And the fourth with Vebichari Bhav, Vebichari Abhidha Turya. And the fifth with Stahi Bhav, Stahi Sangya Cha Panchame. So these are the five. Vibhav, causes of ecstasy, Anubhav, subsequent ecstasy, Satviki Bhav, constitutional ecstasy, Vebichari Bhav, aggressive ecstasy, Stahi Bhav, continuous ecstasy. Okay. So this is the five waves, and we are now going through the overview of Vibhav. The detailed Vibhav, as I mentioned, is available in 25 sessions, verse by verse discussion, which you can go at your leisure. But in these 2-3 classes, we will just be covering the entire Vibhav overview. Okay. Then comes, okay, these are the components of rasa, Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vebichari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. So now, Rup Goswami goes on to define these uh, components of rasa, which before I go into Rup Goswami's discussion of components of rasa, I will be introducing what is called as the concept of rasa, an overview by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is an extract from the Prema Pradeep. And only after understanding this concept of rasa, then we will go through these definitions of what is a vibhav, what is alamban, what is vishay alamban, what is ashay alamban. In brief, we'll go through. But up till now, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions, clarifications? Questions. Okay. So I feel that this concept of rasa, if I begin now, I'll not be able to complete it. And this will take at least 1 hour. And I don't want to start the discussion now. And uh, we have already, we are just, you know, we started at 7:25 and it's already 8:15. So I don't want to just in 10 minutes uh, start the concept of rasa because if I don't discuss the whole thing, then you'll not be able to understand it. So if you have no questions, then I will just summarize what we discussed today. Today we began with the discussion of uh, the overview of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which has 4 divisions: Eastern, Southern, Western, and Northern. The Eastern is Samanya Bhakti, where Uttama Bhakti definition is given. The characteristics of Uttama Bhakti, pure devotion, is given. And then Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti definition, and then the Angas of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So that is the second wave there. Then the third wave is Bhava Bhakti, the fourth wave is Prema Bhakti. This is part of your Bhakti Shastri. The southern division is central to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu because the components of rasa are discussed, without which we cannot go into the western and the northern division. So there are the components of rasa, which is Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Sanchari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. Sanchari or Vebichari Bhav, both are same. And the western is the 5 rasas, Mukhya Rati, that is Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. The northern is the Gaun Rasas, the 7 Gaun Rasas, plus 2 chapters on compatibility and incompatibility. So this is Bhagavad Bhakti Ved, Samanya Bhakti Ras, Mukhya Bhakti Ras, Gaun Bhakti Ras. That's how it is. And as I mentioned, the first wave, there is Samanya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, second wave, third wave, Bhava Bhakti, fourth wave, Prema Bhakti. And in the southern wave, these are the 5 waves: Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vabhichari Bhav, and Sthayi Bhav. And we went into the overview of Vibhav, causes of Bhakti Ras, components, definition of Vibhav. Krishna is the Vishay, Krishna as Anya Roop and Swarup. We will go into this definition very soon. The qualities in Krishna, the 64 qualities, and then Krishna is Purna, Purnatara, Purnatama. Krishna in his 4 personalities. We will go through that. Krishna's 8 auspicious qualities, and devotee as Ashraya. He is a Bhava Bhakta or a Prema Bhakta, attained Siddhi by sadhana or mercy, or the Nitya Siddha. And then by rasa, all these 5 rasas. And what are the uddipans in the Vishay which stimulate Stahi Bhav? The Krishna's qualities, his age. For the Vatsalya ras, it is Kaumara. For the Sakya ras, it is Paugand age. And for the Madhurya ras, it is Kaishwar age. Krishna's beauty, form, sweetness, softness, his verbal, mental actions, clothing, hairstyle, garland, tilak, ornament, smile, all these are uddipans. And then we just went into the Mangalacharan verse of Vibhav and how this southern division is dealing with Samanya Bhakti, Bhagavad Bhakti Ras, and it has 5 waves: Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vabhichari Bhav, and Sthayi Bhav. Now, before going into these concepts, components of rasa of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we will tomorrow look into the concept of rasa given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur from the Panim Pradeep. So tomorrow, stay tuned and let us understand this concept of rasa and then go further into our overview discussion of Vibhav. So we'll stop here and thank you very much for participating and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.